It's been 5 long years, but the wait for Mechwarrior fans is nearly over. Activision is near completion of Mechwarrior 2, The Clans, which will use the same Battletech universe as the original, with the addition of all the technological advances that have taken place since the release of the original game in 1989. The new game will have VGA graphics, compared to EGA in the original. Texture mapping gives the graphics a more realistic look and feel, and the sound is enhanced through the use of an 8-bit soundtrack. Kelly Zmack, the executive producer of the simulation division at Activision, says there are a number of elements in Mechwarrior 2 that set it apart from the competition.
We're on the ground. A lot of the action is very close. Because of the rules of the Battletech universe, we deal with the in-your-face combat. We deal with the close action, where if you're firing off a set of machine guns, you see the explosions take off on the left arm of the mech you're firing at. That's probably the primary difference between ours and any other simulation, is that we really put you into the combat experience. We try to submerge the player into the idea that he's in this huge, lumbering mech.
Simulation fans who like their games without a lot of unnecessary distractions will be pleased to know that Mechwarrior 2 will be focused strictly on gameplay. According to Zmack, one of the design team's goals was to eliminate any sort of storyline.
What we instead did was enter the career mode that allowed the player to enter a military career, and more or less chance and circumstance and his own personal ability is what takes him from one scenario to the other. That will allow for a wide open area of gameplay for the player and allow the player to play it over and over again without experiencing the exact same scenarios.
The end result is a game that Zmack feels will please Mechwarrior fans while drawing in a new group of players who enjoy simulations.
At that time, I took the concept, immersed myself in the world. I was familiar with the Battletech board game, but wasn't really familiar with all of the new materials that were available through the Fawcett universe. Submersed myself into it and came up with a concept that I felt would appeal to the target audience that we were trying to focus in on, the Falcon 3.0 buyer, the F-15 Strike Eagle buyer. The ones that were fascinated with physics and dynamics, yet also fascinated with the combat aspect. The futuristic aspect of Mechwarrior 2 made it appealing to a broad audience, as well as that existing FOSSA audience or Battletech audience that kind of pre-existed out there, took Mech 1 and ran with it.
Using the familiar FASA universe did make a difference in the design of Mechwarrior 2. Zmack says that while his superiors at Activision gave his design team a lot of leeway in the creative process, they knew that Battletech fans wouldn't want a lot of changes.
For those that are really into the universe, they'll probably drool over the idea of the mech plant. This allows them to take a set of geometry, a mech, build it from the ground up with their own engines, their own heat sinks, their own armor ratings, their own internal structures, their own weapon configurations. They can completely customize it. They'll also be able to dump that out to an ASCII file and use it with the board game.
Each of the mechs will consist of 450 to 500 polygons per figure. The texture mapping process is the same that was used in Strike Commander. Zmack feels Mechwarrior 2 will have a distinctive look that should be very pleasing to game players.
What we've tried to do is not use the texture maps just for fluff and stuff, but to use the texture maps to enhance gameplay and the visual representation of the product, thereby increasing the suspension of disbelief.
The audience is there for this game, and Activision is ready and eager to please it. With 5 years of technological advances available since the original game, Mechwarrior 2 The Clans should drive simulation design to a new level.